Today is the last day to apply for admission for grade 1 and 8 pupils in Gauteng for the 2021 academic year. Parents are being urged to apply early to avoid disappointment. They are allowed to apply to a maximum of 5 schools. The Gauteng Education Department says applications are not approved on a first-come, first-served basis, so parents and pupils should not panic. To discuss this further, we're joined by the department's Steve Mabona. Steve, thank you so much for joining us right now. So much going on in your department right now. I thought this would be the last thing that I speak to you about, because we don't even know how we're going to look at the end of the year, let alone what the next education year looks like. But I suppose you need to keep your planning in place and be ready for any eventuality. What is the latest in terms of these applications for next year?
Indeed, good morning, Marcel, and to all our viewers. We must continue to plan. We have a 2021 academic year, though we still have challenges with the current academic year, but we need to plan. We need to make sure that we are ready for our learners next year as well. Remember, you grade 1, they will be coming from grade R, so they need to come to our environment, and the grade 8 must move from primary schools to the high school. So we need to plan. Look, up to so far, the process has been going very well. The parents have indicated that indeed the system is working, because you look at the numbers don't lie. Over 500,000 applications in our system, because parents will be allowed to apply to 5 schools. That's why you have an alarming number like that. But overall that you will probably sitting at about 300,000, when you allocate spaces, and that will be coming in October. So we encourage parents that they have not applied. Today is the last day. Midnight, the system will shut down. So they need to make sure that they apply, so that we then assist them with placement for their children.
Now, Steve, I see you said that you've seen a lot of parents have applied. They're on this site, their profile is there, but they haven't uploaded the necessary documents. Is there perhaps the thought that especially the parents of grade 7 pupils are thinking, this year has been up and down, and we've just now heard the president saying schools are going to close for another month, although matriculants and grade 7s are expected to keep their schooling going more so than the other grades as we try and get over the worst of this pandemic. Is there the fear perhaps that parents are saying, I don't exactly know what to do in terms of my grade 7, their marks are, the testing and all of that is all over the place because of the upheaval caused by the pandemic? What's your word of advice to them?
No, they don't need to do that. They don't really think about that, because they've applied. They are in the system. What we need to finalize the process of the application, we need the documents. Because remember, critical documents that we need an ID, we need the proof of residence, we need a birth certificate, and those that are going to grade 1, we will need a clinic card or immunization evidence. And those that are going to grade 8, we will need their latest report cards. Remember, first term was done when we went into lockdown. So those are the latest results that will then be utilized. So there's no school that will say we are not ready to issue you with the results of the first term. So because we are saying the latest results, so they're going to have to use that. So they need to upload documents on this. Very easy on the system. It prompts you when you go to upload documents. It prompts you. You can see it pops up, 4 documents that you need to upload. But we've been assisting many parents who are experiencing challenges in uploading of documents. We managed to assist them. But we have an exception to those that are really struggling to submit those documents in the schools that they've applied to. Parents have up until the 31st to submit those documents, because remember, after application, you have 7 days to upload documents. So we are giving them up until month end of July to make sure that documents are at the schools that they have applied to. Remember, we might be on a break, but schools are not closed. So they can still drop off those documents and make sure that when we start with the process of placing, we have all documents. Because if we don't have documents, it will be difficult for us to continue with that application. Because if you don't have documents, you can't be placing, someone that you don't know. Because documents then give you an assurance that indeed this is a child that they've applied for, and this is the parent that they've also applied for the space. So come October when we place, if there are no documents, unfortunately, we're not going to be in a position to get assist.
Steve, if I may just shift gears quickly before I let you go, after you've given us that very important information for parents. If I could just go quickly back to the President's speech earlier this week in announcing that government schools, or certain grades in government schools, would indeed be closing for a month. He made a point of mentioning that the DBE's National School Nutrition Programme would continue to operate during the period of schools being closed, with parents and pupils being encouraged to collect food from schools. Now, we know hunger during these times is a very important issue, especially for the millions of our children who depend on that nutrition program for their 1 square meal a day. How organized or confident are we in Gauteng that that nutrition program will indeed be in place and that parents and pupils know that they can go to the schools to get that meal?
No, well, as Gauteng, we're confident. We've planned. Remember, we had already started with the process of feeding our children. So when the court order was then issued, it was a matter of us making sure that we make an allocation for all other learners that will then be coming to our schools. So the message is quite clear that learners must come. They know what time we give them food. They must wear their uniform. Because of identification, we need to make sure that these are our learners come to school, get their meal, and go back home. Those that are utilizing our transport, those that we are, transporting from home to school every day, they also need to go to their pickup points. Our transport will go there. We have shared the times, and pick them up, take them to schools, and collect their food, and then they go back home. So we encourage them to bring their containers so that they then collect and go back home, because we don't want them to be in and around our schools because of the reasons that are known now. We need to social distance and make sure that everyone is safe. So our program will go ahead. We are quite confident that we're not going to have any challenges, because indeed we must make sure that we feed them.
Thank you so much for that update on various fronts. Steve Mabona from the Gauteng Education Department.